I'm sure you would agree that content today looks dialed in. Free tools offer endless transitions, effects, and color grading, and just about every phone can take cinema quality video now. But everywhere you look, something is missing. Style is all over every feed, yet taste is disappearing in every corner. And I think that's why so much content today feels technically impressive and can get tons of views, but emotionally it's forgettable. So I think the big question is, why are so many creators losing their taste? Just be honest for a second. Can you remember the last Instagram story or YouTube short that you watched? Because personally, I can't. And it's not because creators are sucking at making videos now. Stylistically, people are making some of the best content that we've ever seen. And when someone loses their creative edge, it doesn't usually happen all at once. I believe there are a few traps that are far too easy to fall into, especially with how sleazy the YouTube growth guru meta is, but it almost always starts by copying someone else's format. Because imagine this, a creator sees a video format that's exploding across, say, YouTube or Instagram. There's a new trend. It could be a hook pattern or a certain editing style. Sometimes it's even a one-to-one copy of a trending thumbnail. This is the plague of retention-based editing that was largely brought on to creators similar like MrBeast. And at first it might make sense because learning by intimidation is normal. Every creative field kind of works this way. You don't pick up a guitar and immediately start writing your own songs. You learn by practicing other people's music first. But something subtle happens because when imitation stops being a phase and becomes a regular part of your creative behavior, creators stop asking why a certain video strategy works, and they start treating the strategy like the answer to the video itself. And that's where creative judgment just quietly starts leaving the room. Anyone can copy a menu at a popular restaurant, but taste is the art in knowing what ingredients and how much of them to use. So you can copy a video format perfectly and still miss the reason as to why that original video resonated in the first place. And I think this is why so much content might feel correct in the moment, but it ends up performing kind of hollow. Because taste is that internal filter that tells you to maybe slow something down or take something out. And when that filter weakens, you're not really choosing for yourself anymore. And when you stop choosing, you're not even really creating content. You're just assembling your ideas inside somebody else's package. And don't get me wrong, that might get you some quick exposure, but that is not going to build you a lasting brand with loyal followers. So what do most creators do? They start consuming more content to find inspiration. And finding inspiration quickly turns into, just scrolling for research, and binge watching becomes studying the algorithm. And I get it. I love YouTube from both the consumer and the creative side. And I've fallen into this rabbit hole myself. But when you consume more than you create, your brain starts to get flooded with other people's thoughts and conclusions before you've spent any time forming them on your own. That's when you start recognizing patterns without fully understanding the why behind them. You might know that a hook or video thumbnail works, but you don't really know why. And the biggest loss in just consuming more content is that you're not sitting in friction long enough to develop your own personal taste. Taste is built in those uncomfortable moments where you don't fully know the answer to what you want to make. And this applies to whether you're making like travel and lifestyle content all the way over to like nerdy tech and gaming stuff. Someone once said to me that if your input doesn't stop, your output has no time to mature. And I don't think it's intentional. It's just that their internal voice has been drowned out because everything that they create is just an echo of somebody else. So what happens next? Creators start optimizing for vanity metrics. And I get it. People want higher click-through rate and more retention and more watch time. And look, I'm a numbers guy. Metrics matter, and ignoring YouTube Studio is a foolish decision. But optimizing too early in a creative process is how your taste gets flattened. So instead of asking, does this flow right? Or how does this sound? You ask yourself, is this going to hurt my retention? Or are people going to click off if I say this? And I think the problem is very simple. Self-expression and creativity are not numbers that can be represented in a graph. And at the end of the day, metrics are just a series of events that already happened. And to be honest, a lot of taste shows up when you say something that is painfully honest versus algorithmically optimized. Or when you choose to be clear versus being clever to trick someone to watch more. I think when creators let numbers replace their judgment, This doesn't make them more effective, it just makes them more mechanical. And as much as I like systems and repeatable strategies, working like a robot purely by numbers is one of the fastest ways to drain your creativity and lead to burnout. Because you can absolutely engineer content to perform well, but you can't engineer it to resonate to build loyal followers. And AI is accelerating all of this too. Like, not as the villain. I personally really like AI and use these tools every day. But AI is adding fuel to this already burning fire, and it makes it faster and easier to copy viral formats at scale. That means everyone's using the same tools, feeding the same prompts, and they're also producing the same kind of output. And like Intel today, that level of taste graph just keeps going down. And I know this is going to piss a lot of AI bros off, but AI doesn't have taste. Yes, sure, it can simulate it, but it simulates the same taste that everybody else has access to with a monthly subscription. And if you don't believe me, just spend 15 minutes on LinkedIn and you'll experience the taste of AI slop firsthand. So getting back your taste or developing it in the first place isn't about like rejecting AI tools and stop consuming content. Definitely not. I think it's about putting the responsibility back where it belongs, and that's you and me as the creator. Look, I know that styles will keep evolving and content will always get cleaner and more polished, but the creators with taste are the ones that know what to say and how to create content around it.